Everyone is resistant to worms and parasites. And look at the 1800s. We go through the 1800s. What did the doctors do then? They dewormed you. As the further I got back in history through the 1800s, I started finding books that were published by doctors through the 1800s, books that they read and books that they learned from. And lo and behold, out of every single book were deworming programs, parasite programs, all through America, all through Canada, all through the world, parasite programs, and pictures of parasites that they had found in flesh. For doctors in those days did autopsies, and they found parasites. And the best man I like in America is Dr. Chase out of Chicago. He wrote 3 books. You can get them in the library in the old book section. Dr. Chase. In the center of his book, he's got a whole bunch of remedies for deworming. And you know what? He kept records. I love it. And here's what he stated. For some strange reason, after 40 years of practice, I have asked everybody how often they deworm, and the people that deworm every year never come in for anything. They come in for checkups. They're healthy. And the people that never deworm, except for 2 or 3 years down the road, need some doctoring. And the people that never deworm, well, we're starting a new clinic for them because they have this strange new disease called cancer. And Dr. Chase got an 80% success rate right in Chicago in the 1800s of getting rid of cancer by deworming. So we started to search for parasite programs just to see what was going on, to see if maybe something was happening that we really didn't understand. So I did myself first. Lo and behold, I got 8 and 10-inch critters out of me. They were white. First of all, they were in a toilet water and they were all bunched up. I thought it was mucus. Until, just for a curiosity, I threw some hot water in the toilet to warm it up, and then went, and gosh, they strung out and they were swimming all over. And I thought, oh my heavens, look at that. They're usually white, and there's some of them that look like tarantula spiders. Some of them look like grasshoppers. Some of them look like little tiny miniature sailboats. Some of them look like little spacecraft. This is really strange stuff. And every single person I have dewormed, I have never yet dewormed anyone where they didn't tell me, hey, I feel 25% better.
I remember they got really sick with parasites and they should confirmed on their testing. And the one parasite that we found was that one's in canines. I was like, do you guys have dogs? And they're like, oh yeah, they let them lick them all around their mouth and sniff them, and so they have it. For example, certain yeast can come through our skin. Certain yeast can go on the fur of animals. But if you have parasites and they had pinworms and they had larvae and they're sitting on your couch and such, they're so small and microscopic, their eggs.
There are 5 signs you have parasites. Number 1, you hear a lot of loud gurgling in your gut, especially right after a meal. That can be a sign of parasites. Number 2, you have an itchy backside. So yeah, an itchy bum, hate to say it, but that could be a sign of parasites as well. Number 3, you have frequent cravings for sweets. You just can't get enough of your sweets. It's because these guys often are making you crave those sweets because they feed and they multiply when you eat more and more sugar. Number 4, foggy thinking. Your brain just isn't where it should be. And number 5, irregular bowel movements.
So, what if I told y'all that they have been controlling the world using a certain type of parasite, which is a Toxoplasma gondii, the T. gondii parasite, to control the world? This parasite makes women act in a particular way, and men act in a particular way, and children act in a particular way. Right? We're going to go into the information. Majority of the cases of domestic violence stems from things that you can't see, that is influencing you. Even though you are aware and conscious of what is going on, there is something in your subconscious controlling you that's enticing you chemically, right? Through a chemical imbalance, which is causing chemical reactions, enticing you to commit certain actions and have certain emotions. The Toxoplasma gondii parasite is controlling society. And this parasite, as I said before, is not a real parasite. It was created in a laboratory, and they are using it to control the people. This is a mental parasite. This is a brain parasite. It thrives within the neurons. It can mimic your neurons. And again, your neurons is what create your thoughts. So if they can mimic your neurons, this means that most of the thoughts that you think is yours is not really yours. You might say, well, I'm the one thinking them up. It's easy for you to think that. But in reality, this one particular parasite, the Toxoplasma gondii, is controlling society, people. It's causing women to hate men. It's causing men to be aggressive. It's causing most people to cheat on their significant others. It might sound crazy to y'all, but I'm going to prove everything I'm saying. This one parasite in particular is a parasite that they are using to control society. Y'all want to know where ADHD come from? Women, y'all want to know why y'all love painting y'all nails? Looking nice? Being promiscuous? Men, y'all want to know why y'all so aggressive? Assumptive? Right? Let's get into it then. The information I'm about to read out to you all is from this book titled Parasites and How They Affect the Mental, Emotional, and Physical Body by Alicia Parker. Very great book. So if you look at the very tip top of this paper right here, it says that infected males were more inclined to break rules, increase impulsiveness, thrill-seeking, more reserved and suspicious, more likely to dress gruff, and show up late to events. McCullough, 2016. So this is talking about the T. gondii parasite, the Toxoplasma gondii parasite, affecting the male. So when all of a sudden, man, you having assumptions, certain emotions and things like that, that's most likely a Toxoplasma gondii effect, having a chemical reaction and benefiting off the low frequencies of your assumption. And this next section talks about women. It says, quite the opposite of men, women experience symptoms differing greatly. Infected women are more likely to abide by the rules, have warmer and more outgoing personalities, dress nicer, wear nail polish, expensive clothing, and wear lots of jewelry. And it goes down and says, T. gondii, the parasite, also raised blood levels of progesterone in women, leading to recklessness and aggression towards themselves and others. And ADHD didn't just come from anywhere. And it says, in an interview with Joanne Webster, a parasitology researcher at Imperial College London, she stated that infected individuals, regardless of gender, experience drastic changes in their risk behavior and a decrease in their reaction times. During the controlled experiment that involved clicking a box on a computer screen, once it appeared, infected participants, both genders, experienced attention deterioration just after a few minutes, and their minds began to wander. This leads researchers to believe that T. gondii parasite could cause ADHD, y'all. And it goes on to say, one study found that both men and women with T. gondii infection were rated as more attractive and healthier looking than uninfected individuals. So that means that this parasite can shape-shift your look, your image. So it can have ways and means of transmitting from one person to another to make you look good to the other person so you can have sex with them. You all have to understand that this parasite can make you shapeshift. Once they get to your central nervous system, that's your program. That's your whole system. And then we go down and it says it also suggests that infected women had a higher number of sexual partners than non-infected women, right? Why is this? Because when they infect the women and the women become more promiscuous, more good looking, want to go get their nails done, want to get their hair done, this is something influence you to do that so you can have sex. So parasites can move from one person to another. And y'all don't understand that this is what they call STIs, which is STDs. So I want to put this notion to sleep that when you cook parasites that you really kill them. That's not true. Parasites, when they feel like a certain temperature or overheated, they become what you call cysts. They create cyst-like structures, right? So a lot of y'all are eating cysts and don't even know it. So if heat becomes overbearing to them, they create a barrier around them, which is cysts. So you are ingesting cysts into your body. Not only that, but parasites can mimic certain things to make their body become acclimated to certain temperatures inside of your pan. I'm telling y'all, these things are very, very intelligent. Let's get into it. And it says, while cooking food thoroughly is crucial for eliminating most foodborne parasites, some parasites can form protective structures like cysts or spores, enabling them to resist standard cooking temperatures. I'm telling y'all, I'm not playing with this. I do my work. I do my due diligence. And it goes on to say that some parasites can form cysts or other protective stages that are resistant to heat, meaning that even thorough cooking may not completely eliminate the risk of infection in some cases. And last but not least, it said, yes, some parasites employ strategies that involve mimicking host components to protect themselves from various threats, including the effects of high temperatures. These parasites, y'all, they don't teach us about them because they are 100% of the causation of diseases and mental health issues in America. Make sure you do your parasite cleanse and colon cleanse every 60 to 90 days. Fasting is a weapon beyond an atom bomb, because when you stop eating and when you stop talking, it's systems in the body that will give you unseen defense for illnesses that you may not think you have. Number one, what is the greatest power of fasting? It rejuvenates neurotransmitters in the gut, which allows for defense to align whenever there are infections formulating in the body. So when you fast, not only from eating, but from talking, your body will start putting certain processes in place that will defend you from infections and spiritual warfare that may be arising in your body from being around other people. Not only does foods give you disease, but being around other people and having nonsensical conversations, because your digestive system, your gut, can hear everything that you are saying and everything that your environment is saying. And depending on the frequency, which is the ingredients of the conversation, this is how your digestive system breaks down the information that you are speaking out of your mouth and that's coming from people who are around you. See, you got to understand that your thought process is not processed in the brain. It is processed in the heart. Because your heart is a computer that opens up pathways for defense when there are things in the body that you don't know about or things that your doctor cannot see in their microscopes. A microscope cannot detect every parasite. Some parasites are energetic. And in order to detect them and to defeat them, sometimes you have to stop feeding your body the things that make it feel good. You say sugar tastes good, but you don't understand that your taste buds is wired to the demons in your body. So therefore, it's not tasting good to you. It's tasting good to something else. Something else that you are having an experience through. And you think that that taste is your taste, but it's not yours. You are not really tasting that. Whenever you are having conversations, there are certain vibrations going on in your gut. And inside of your digestive tract, these vibrations are staggering enzymes. So if you're having nonsensical conversations, low vibrations, the enzymes from the food that you are eating are not breaking down and making proper conversions. Meaning that you have a lot of interesting information being stored in your gut, which will eventually go to your colon. And what's so distinct about the colon is that's your primary signaling pathway. So whatever enzyme that don't break down properly, enzymes hold information. That means that that information is going to be used by the viruses and the parasites and those demons in your body against you. So anything positive can be turned into a negative if you have negative in the environment of your positives. So even if you are eating foods high in pH, but you have a negative mind state or a mindset, then you are turning that positive pH in your body into an acidic environment, which is beneficial to the demons in your body and those parasites and viruses that is creating replication factors to lay infections. This triggers inflammation. And inflammation is just a shadow of what is going on in your body as far as demonic activities. Parasites replicate from one environment to another environment in your anatomy. Why is that? Because they are picking up information from you so they can snatch your body and become you. And even though that you are aware of being conscious, most of your consciousness is not yours. And slowly over time, most of your thoughts is not yours. Remember that these parasites can mimic your neurons in the brain, and your neurons is what creates the thoughts. So if these parasites can mimic your neurons, then again, a lot of us are walking around with thoughts in our head that is not ours. Stay away from nonsensical conversations. Because even though you eat high pH foods, which is healthy for you, those conversations will rearrange the chemistry in your gut to turn those positives into a negative. Think. I love y'all. Peace.
If you want to get rid of parasites, you got to do two things. If you want to get rid of parasites, you got to starve them. It's the only way. You got to stop feeding them. Even when the cravings are insatiable, even when the cravings feel like there's no other option, this is the only way that you win. Let's talk about how to do this. You have to stop feeding them. This means you need to cut out all of the processed foods, all of the sugars, and let go of all of those toxic habits. And then you have to eradicate them, and you have to be aggressive when you do this. You have to use natural herbs and natural strategies. These two things work hand in hand. Herbs that kill parasites, you want to look at black walnut, clove, wormwood. Foods that kill parasites, you want to look at papaya, pumpkin seeds, garlic. All of these things are potent anti-parasitic allies, and they work incredibly well. But you want to make sure that you pay attention, because parasites birth in cycles. So you could kill all of the parents, but then all of those eggs are going to hatch, and then you got yourself another problem. You got to make sure that you do a colon cleanse, and you got to make sure that you fast along with this so that you get to starve them out. And you got to make sure that you center hydration. It's incredibly important so that you are flushing your pathways and making sure that there are no more eggs, no more larvae, and no more adults in your system. That's why you got to do parasite cleanses and cycles. Here's a warning that I need to let you know though. When parasites die, the die-off process is crazy. They release these toxins that can make you feel worse than when you even started. So a lot of people quit the parasite cleanse before they even kill the parasites. And then the eggs just hatch, and now you got to do this thing all over again. So you got to realize that it's going to get worse before it gets better, and you got to keep moving through. Even if you feel itchy, even if you feel strange, even if you feel sick, keep moving through, because you will cleanse them out. You will sweep them out. Okay, this is where everybody talks about a binder. This is where a binder is handy with the die-off process. A binder is not necessary, but it is helpful. All right, helps to support the liver pathways, helps to support this die-off process, and it helps if you're using something like our herbal clay pack, which has clay, which is like a magnet. It binds to them, draws them, pulls them out of the system. Okay, so if you want a parasite cleanse and a binder, you want to get the parasite cleanse and you want to get the herbal clay pack as a duo so that you could do them together if you want to avoid this stage. Helps make things easier. You also need to make sure that you cleanse in cycles, okay? Because this allows you to target both the adults and the eggs that have not hatched yet. If you only do one parasite cleanse and you never circle back around, there's going to be another generation that's born and you're going to have the same issues. So you want to make sure that you cleanse in cycles. If you look at our parasite cleanse at Enuma Apothecary, we have a 2-step parasite cleanse. So you're going to make sure that you target the adults. You want to start the cleanse 5 to 7 days before the full moon. And then you'll go through and then you'll do the second cycle, which will target the eggs and the babies or whatever. Strange, right? Strange. Something living inside of you.